Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Iceman and Bob. In this video, I want to show you all that I am currently running firmware 1303 on the Samsung S95B. And I'm going to show you all some game footage and show you all that the ASBL has definitely been improved. There is no dimming from what I've been seeing so far when you are actively playing the games. However, you can experience some ASBL if you are idle and you just let the game sit. It is a lot more relaxed than it was on previous firmware versions, including 1302. Obviously, if you are idle and you're not doing anything, that's not an issue. It should not be an issue, and you would want the panel to dim to protect the longevity. However, while you're gaming, if you're just on a static screen or what have you, it's not going to be an issue. So let me first show you all that I am in game mode. You can see game HDR here, okay? And I will show you all that I am running firmware 1303, as you all can see. All right, we'll come over here. I will show you all that I am running HGIG here. That should be on. Quick turn it off, it makes it brighter. Okay, turn it on. That's another conversation for another day, but nonetheless, you see that. And I will show you all the picture settings. All right. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time here. Feel free to copy my settings if you like what you see. Again, you are watching this on camera, also from a YouTube video, so you know you lose some of the quality, but nonetheless, it is what it is. And you see, there's the game bar, okay? All right, so by request, I'm going to show you all that you will not experience any ASBL while gaming. And I'm going to show the game FIFA 2022. This game has been requested. I've had a subscriber ask me, can I check this game out? Can I show him what's going to happen, etc., etc. And this game is notorious for dimming, okay? So obviously you see the source is the PS5. Before I open this up, I have the camera settings locked. The shutter speed is 120. The ISO is also 120. The white balance is 5250. The aperture is f1.5. Everything is set. The focus, you name it, everything is locked. Okay, so there is no deviation with what you all are seeing from the cameras in. All right, so let's go into the game. All right, and I will just go ahead and go into here. There is a timer, if you haven't noticed, at the bottom of the TV, and this will help us keep track of the time, okay? All right, so we have the timer going, and what I want to show you all is pay attention to the sky, the clouds, and the turf, okay? I want you all to see that there will be absolutely no ASBL. Previously, some of you were experiencing ASBL regardless of what you have done or haven't done, whether you were active or idle. That appears to not be an issue so far with the games that I have tested. I have also taken a look at Destiny 2. Sitting at the Tower is notorious. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, sitting in the menus or certain areas, that is notorious for ASBL kicking in. There are a few other games as well, but so far I haven't noticed at all any dimming as long as you are remaining somewhat active. And I'm going to show you at the later portion of this video how on this same screen, the same environment, when I am idle, you will see it dim. But even then, the dimming is capped. It's not as dark as it once was. It used to get so dark before that it almost looked like the screen was blacked out. Now it's not getting as dark, nor is it dimming as quick when it does. And again, this is only on an idle screen. I have to stress that. So for those of you wondering, should I update to firmware 13.03? My answer would be an absolute yes, especially if you're on 13.02. Okay, I know if you're on 12.11, that's another conversation. I know people are like, I'm not updating, whatever, I'm staying unplugged. I get it, okay, I get it. However, if you are on 13.02, it is absolutely safe to update to 13.03. I'm one of the first persons to receive this update, as well as document any changes. Okay, there are people on AVS forums who have not gotten the update. There are people, of course, here on YouTube, all over the place, who are looking for the update. Other reviewers, calibrators, industry people, etc., the average consumer, and they have not received it. Few have, and for what I'm hearing, they are having similar experiences that I am. I have noticed, while I have a lot of idle time here, is that it does appear that the SDR and HDR content overall is brighter, okay, in comparison to 13.02. I did put out a comparison video. Again, you know, YouTube is going to degrade the quality and what you all will see. You have to deal with the camera limitations, the whole nine. So please be considerate and mindful of that. However, it absolutely is brighter in person. Got him. Welvin the Great strikes again. Got him. Knowing I'm supposed to be in the goal, not out here on the field. Whatever. I'm just having fun passing time, y'all. Passing the time. I'm really happy with this update. I feel that Samsung has finally started turning things around and taking a step in the right direction. I'm sure once these reviewers and these calibrators and industry professionals get their hands on this update and they put it through the paces and tests, they will agree. It's no worse than 13.02. I only see improvements going to 13.03. So again, if you're on 13.02, I highly recommend for you to go ahead and just install this update once it's pushed to your TV. It is not listed on their website. I don't know what Samsung is doing. We had 12.11 listed on their website and it was available via USB. And then ever since 13.02 automatically got pushed, that hasn't been listed on their website, as well as this one, 13.03. So I don't know what Samsung is doing. I don't know if they were just trying to do that and push these updates maybe just in time for the TV shootout. I don't even know if the S95B that will be reviewed in the TV shootout with Value Electronics coming up at the end of the month here in July would even get this update. If it does, it really needs to have this update. I think there's a lot of pros to it that could change the game, that could possibly give it points and things that it didn't have. The image quality also looks cleaner, all right? There's certain things that I look for that I know some people say, oh, the operating system is more snappy and because it's new. I pay attention to all of that. And in my opinion, it just seems to run more smoothly. I wouldn't necessarily say it's faster. I didn't have an issue with speed, at least with 13.02, I believe 12.11 as well. Some people did. Obviously, the initial, when you first turn it on, it's a little slow. That is also an issue that has been observed on the Sony A95K, okay? When you first power it on, you know, it might be a little slow. But once you get it going, it's good. I haven't had many issues. I know some of you have, some of you haven't. I'm not saying that it is not an issue, but this update seems to have addressed a lot of things so far. So right now we are over 6 minutes in. If I was on firmware version 13.02 or even 12.11, this screen would be very dark by now. Okay, it normally, once you hit that 5 minute mark, I know Vincent Teal, he from HDTV Test, he talked about this when he did his comparison video with the A95K, and he showed how it would dim. Even so, when I show you how it will dim in idle content, it's still not an issue. Okay, and from what I've seen, I haven't seen these dimming issues show up so far. I still need to do more testing, but so far with my preliminary checks and tests, I haven't seen it dim during movie and film content. Now, I will get a video out later showing if it does do that or not, but so far I haven't noticed that. It was very, very, very apparent when I was even on 1302. So right now we're almost 7.5 minutes in. This screen would normally be dark. As you all can see, absolutely no dimming. Okay, absolutely no dimming here. The clouds look the same. The sky looks the same. The turf looks the same. Everything looks the same. I know many of you are going to be happy with this, and I wanted to show you all and document this so that you all can see firsthand. Feel free to fast forward, skip around to any parts you want. I'm just making conversation with you all and knocking around here. I'm going to stop this portion of the video at 10 minutes as nothing's going to change at this point. I apologize about the video cutting out earlier. I ran into an issue, but nonetheless, you all can see it's still going. We are coming up on 11 minutes. I am going to actually stop the video here. Absolutely no ASBL, no dimming. Everything is the same. Settings the same. Nothing has changed. And you all can clearly see if you're in the middle of the game, it absolutely will not dim. All right. Now, in this next portion of the video, I will show you all in this same area how if you are idle, it will actually dim. Okay, so let's get to that portion of the video. All right, so once again, I want to show everyone this settings one more time because I know people think I change things and do things. Okay, we're on firmware 1303, as you all can see. I'm gonna show you all that we are running HDIG here, okay, with the tone mapping. Again, that conversation is for another day. You all see the picture settings. You all can see, again, game HDR. All right, and just for the sake of doing it, you all see here that there's the game optimizer or game bar. All right, so now that I'm out of that, let's go ahead and get into let's do this. Okay, let's get the timer going. All right, so you all will see that there will be some ASBL kicking in. It will definitely become obvious at some point. It generally does not start until you cross over the 5-minute threshold. Once we start getting to around 6 minutes, definitely 7 minutes, it's extremely apparent. I am running the same camera settings again, the shutter speed at 120, the ISO at 120, the white balance at 5250, the aperture is f1.5, same focus, same everything. All right, so the only thing I changed is the color on the timer that you were seeing before you at the bottom of the TV. That is the only thing that has changed and what we're actually testing. So this will be boring, obviously. So I highly suggest and recommend, if you like, to actually fast forward. Fast forward until the 5-minute mark, 6-minute mark, you'll definitely notice it. 7-minute mark, it will be extremely apparent. Once you get to around that 7-minute mark, it does not dim anymore. That is the maximum dimming. I will say, even so, the dimming is still less than it was on the previous firmware versions, then 1302, 1211, and etc. Normally, when you hit that 5-minute mark, it would dim extremely and become extremely dark. Okay, this is something that Vincent Teal with HD TV tests, he's shown in his A95K or the Sony A95K versus S95B video. He showed that right out of the gate. From what I'm seeing now, it doesn't appear to be that aggressive. It doesn't appear to kick in and have that issue. Now, I have to do some more testing on actual film and movie content, so don't hold me to that. I haven't thoroughly tested that, nor have I finished testing gaming content. But most people test the film and the TV content. I wanted to actually get some gaming content out as a gamer. Many people don't test that. I'm not saying all, but many don't. They just either don't have the time, don't get around to it, etc., etc. So I am putting this out, and this was also requested. I had a subscriber request this specific game, FIFA 2022. This game is notorious for dimming, so this will be one of the best examples. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I did get to test Destiny. I didn't see the dimming issues I normally would have experienced on the tower. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is another game. You get into the menus or certain spots, it will just dim almost completely black. Again, even when the dimming does kick in here, it's still visible. It's still playable. Is it preferred? No. Is that the way that we want it to be? No. So don't take my words and twist it and make it seem like I'm trying to say that, oh, you should just absolutely play with the maximum ASBL kicking in. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's still visible enough to technically play and game if you had to. Previously, it was so dark and almost not pitch black, but it was so dark you couldn't see anything. You couldn't game on anything if you tried. So you all will see what I'm referring to when we get to that mark. Right now, we're already coming up on the 4-minute mark. We just hit it. Again, pay attention to the clouds, the sky, and the turf. Those will be the most apparent when it comes to the ASBL kicking in. All right. So this part is going to be boring. There is no gameplay. I'm deliberately doing this. Feel free to fast forward to the 5-minute mark or 6-minute mark. At this point, you might as well wait. We're only 30 seconds away. But feel free to fast forward wherever you want to go and see what you need. Some people may not prefer my particular testing methods. I really do not care. This still gets the point across. This still shows what needs to be shown. This is my channel. This is my video. I'm at liberty to do this content the way that I do. And as some of you know, and you have subscribed with me, I do a lot of the tests that you all would be able to do. So right now that we hit the 5-minute mark, I can see the ASBL kicking in. It's starting to dim, okay? I don't know if that's apparent on camera, but I can see it. It's starting to look like it's later in the day, but there is no time lapse in this particular area on this game. But as I was saying, some people may not prefer my testing methods, but I do these testing methods whether people like them or not. I do them similarly to how perhaps some of you would be able to test and find out. I just do the hard work for you all right? So it is what it is. I just want to put that out. I know some people may say, hey, Iceman, you need to test this way. That's not the proper way to test. I really don't care. You put out the test the way that you want to put it out. You put it out the way that it should. But this is also how other professionals have even tested this issue. So I'm just saying, even Vincent performed his test similarly to how I'm doing it. So I'm just saying this because I have people that see my videos and they're industry professionals and they don't care. I do not care. I'm not an industry professional in that sense. I am a professional, but not an industry professional. So this testing is going to be done the way that I want to do it. It's going to give the same results. When you test the way that quote unquote it should be done, you're going to get the same information, the same results. I'm just saying. So now that we're almost 7 minutes in, for me, I'm starting to see it dim. But again, it's not as aggressive as it was before on 1302 or 1211 or 1098 or any of the 1204 and all the previous versions. Okay, we've just crossed the 7-minute threshold. It's starting to get dark, okay, to me. Again, I'm not adjusting the camera settings. I don't want to change anything. I just want you all to see what's going on. But it's definitely getting dark on my end, all right? I'm going to let this video go to the 10-minute mark. I will say that essentially we're virtually at the maximum dimming. So this is about as dark as it's going to get. And as I was saying before, is it dark? Yes. Would you prefer to play like this? Absolutely not. However, it is playable and doable. It's not preferred. It is not the way to game, but it is doable. Whereas on previous firmware versions, it was absolutely not doable whatsoever. Okay, you all see we're coming up here on 8 minutes. And this is as far as it goes. Okay, it does not get any more dim than what we are seeing here. Okay, you can kind of see how it's dimming and I'm moving around and it's not changing the brightness. Okay, so this was the issue before. A lot of you were playing this game and you were running around and would just get dim like this. And you're like, hey, this is ruining the experience for me and I can't stand it. Okay. You know, prime example, it's still dim. This is the maximum though that it goes down to. And as I said, it's still playable. It's not preferred, but it is playable, especially if you have a light controlled environment or you're in a dark environment. Absolutely, if you have a crazy bright environment, I mean, this is an absolute no-go. But again, this would not happen if you're actually gaming. And that's why I wanted to show you all both versions, okay? You can see it doesn't matter the camera angle, it's still dim. Okay, again, but this is the maximum that it dims. And again, it is doable. You all see it is darker, but it is doable. I'll try to put a side-by-side clip. I'll try to do that, just a quick side-by-side clip so you can see what it looks like before and after. But this is the maximum and it's definitely an improvement. Had Vincent compared this firmware version, and I'm not even sure, I haven't seen this take place in film content. So I have to do more research and testing. So don't hold me to this. But I suspect if what's happening here in game mode is very similar to what has or what would happen in normal film and movie content, the S95B might not be dimming as dark as it was, or dimming at all. It definitely would not be as dark. This is the maximum. It does not get any more dark than this. You see, we're over 10 minutes, and this is what you have. So I'm going to essentially stop the video here. You all can take it as you will. I wanted to get this out because, again, it was requested by me to specifically show this game and show how things would be. I will get other games out. I will do film content. I will do some other testing, especially regarding the ASBL and a few other things here on this firmware version. I will say, if you're on 1302 and you get pushed for this 1303 update, absolutely do it. It is a definite improvement across the board. There's a brightness increase. I don't know exactly how much, but it is a apparent brightness increase, especially full field. I noticed it watching cable content and a few other things. As for gaming, I'm not sure if I noticed a brightness increase, but I do know these dimming issues seem to be better. And I know a couple of other people said that even the color bug might be fixed with the auto switching. It may actually be switching the color space correctly, and there's a few other things. So nonetheless, this is what you have, and this is what I would like to show you all. I will have more content coming soon. If you haven't subscribed, I kind of ask that you do so. Hit the notification bell. Feel free to comment below in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. And as I always say, until we stream again.